Now it's live. I thought it was live and it wasn't. And then it was. So it's now live. It's definitely live. Welcome to Transformers the Show. 105. Oh, you're sure. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got loads coming up tonight's show. We have Fourplay, which is all about Chromedome. And we've got a discussion on Masterpiece, where the Chug Boys are going to be arguing that Masterpiece is dead. So we'll look at that later. First of all, it's on to the show. Let's go!
I'm selling to the customers to make them feel all right.
I'm buying all these products with oh so much delight.
I can help you find anything you could possibly want.
Such ostentatious goodies that I can flaunt.
Selling is service.
And service is selling.
Service is selling.
And selling.
No.
Oh my fucking
That was the
God.
wrong thing. Sorry.
What
This
the
is
freak?
No, that's
I've seen
wrong.
that before. I've seen that before. I've actually
Here
seen
we
that
go.
before. I remember
It's
this.
the fucking show.
I live my life walking down the street, meet the faces of the people I see. All the time I see a reflection. All the time I see a reflection. It's okay to feel alone. It's okay to be alone. All the time I see a reflection. All the time I see a reflection. 'Cause when I'm with you, it seems so easy. Seems so easy. My best days are with you. They are so easy. They are so easy.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to the show. On tonight's show, we've got loads coming up. I'm really looking forward to that Chromedome foreplay where each of us has got a different Chromedome we're going to have a little look at. But we've got loads of news coming up now. Andy, it'll be over to you after we've heard from Cup.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
There we go. Train.
Yeah, so we've got loads of, quite a lot of news. Some of it is in-hand pictures of figures that we have seen before. So this is Shuki, the Masterpiece one, which I think quite
Looks
a few
like
people
a
including
Chug.
Alexis. Yeah, well, there's been a lot of mention of that there's elements of Chug design that seems to be sneaking in, certainly with these figures. And I know that Alexis isn't a fan of that, obviously, because
And
you
can
prefer
I
the
ask you
third-party
something,
one.
Andy? Do you know how we have said his Chug has got better? We call them mini masterpieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Masterpiece collectors going to start calling their masterpieces mini. I don't know, degraded chugs. I don't know. Is there going to be some? Is there going to be some new term to describe
Big
the
chugs?
masterpiece
Big chug.
chug hybrid?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt
Or are you
it.
just going to cry?
Just 2 points.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing
No.
before Alexis?
No, you can't. No, you can't.
No, I am, because this whole thing of like our Paul's comment at the start there about the discussion being about us two as chug collectors having. It's not about us having got masterpiece, because these weren't my opinions when I shared this in the discussion about what had been said. This is what has been said by masterpiece collectors in some of these social media forums that I've been. And what I wanted to know was those people who do collect masterpiece. Do you honestly feel, without being overly defensive, Alexis, do you honestly feel that Masterpiece is still really high up on, above Chug? Or is there honestly a little bit of a narrowing of that gap? That's what the discussion.
That's the discussion. And when we say
Chug
masterpiece,
versus
we mean Takara or Hasbro masterpiece. We don't mean third party, which of course we think would destroy Chug.
Yeah,
Okay.
Takara and Hasbro. We're not
we
talking
mean
about third
masterpiece.
party, because third party is a different
Yeah.
entity, really. We're talking about
Well, I was gonna-
if any party's getting
well,
better.
The only thing I would
Anyway,
say
moving
about
on.
this is the only thing masterpiece about that. Be kind, rewind. The only thing
Well,
I'll
we'll
say
talk
about that
about it when we do the
Shuki
discussion,
bot-
Alexis.
No, but the only thing about the only thing
You've broken
masterpiece
the
about
first
Shuki
rule.
bot- I didn't. I said be kind, rewind. I didn't say those.
That
magic
means go
words.
back.
Fuck me.
Oh, you
I
said
didn't
it.
say when we did
Oh,
it.
I didn't say it.
You're going to have to pay the
It's just
penalty.
advancing
The only
in
thing
another
masterpiece
direction.
No,
about
sorry,
that
that's the penalty. I said don't go back
is-
tonight. Don't
We're
go
just moving
back.
on.
I didn't.
Um,
I didn't.
Beast Wall Sandstorm.
That's what you get every time you
Okay.
say go back. He comes
I
out.
didn't say it.
Oh, said it again. He's coming.
Is that a euphemism when you mean he's coming? No,
Wait,
is
so
that-
He's a little bit coming.
Because I'm all for that on a live show.
I apologise to all our viewers tonight.
Choo choo. No,
Balls and
Robert,
bollocks,
it's chug chug. That's why he's chug, because he's like a.
Hang on.
Bo Selector. People are asking for the full song.
They are not.
Did we lose the?
Oh, they're not asking for the full song. They are not. Do not. No, don't encourage him.
Ooh, we've lost
There we
you,
go.
Andy.
Is that back?
Now you're
Is it back?
So, this,
back, yeah.
Let's rock on.
this.
So,
The only thing about this that's masterpiece is the fact that it's got a massive backpack. That's the only thing Takara do at the moment is backpacks. Everything else is just chug.
chuggy chug chugs.
Right.
Mainline.
So, TFW 2005 revealed that there's been a leak of the new Beast Wars Sandstorm figure, which we think, well, I'm sure I've seen these photos on Sheffertron's YouTube channel, and I think he's the one that's actually, that these pictures have come out via, because there's also pictures of this Sandstorm figure with this Legacy Kickback, which Sheffertron reviewed this week. So, there's Kickback.
Looks gorgeous.
It really does look good. I saw somebody make a comment on one of the groups about the insect mode not looking that great, but it looks just like it did in the cartoon. I didn't really get that. But I mean, Sandstorm, I don't know this character at all. So Beast Wars fans, I'm sure
He's
you
very
can fill us in.
complicated. He's like some weird person that's been there since the dawn of Cybertron and is evil, super evil.
Oh, right. Okay.
Part of a conspiracy and takes over the Predacons eventually.
Oh, well,
I kind of lost interest because there's a
lot.
lot of reading. But yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had time to read this week.
Not big
Oh,
words.
it's big. He's a big boy.
Well, he is deluxe size. Is
Is that Combiner
Wars?
Wars? Power the Primes.
Yes.
Yes.
Comparison. Yeah.
I mean, to get an idea of his size compared to the other bots. So he's about the same size as Reflector, isn't he? As a Reflector, but obviously the wings and the antennae make it look a little bit taller. Comes with these nice Energon blades that also clip onto his wings. They see, when I said before about there was photos of him Kickback with this Sandstorm figure, so I think these might have come from Sheffertron. But yeah, looking good. The review of it was very, very positive. And I don't know about the Sandstorm. I haven't seen a review of that Beast Wars Sandstorm figure yet, so I'm assuming that will be coming out soon.
This is going to be the same thing they did last time, right? They released Sideswipe, Super Mold, and then just went downhill.
Yeah, one good Transformer, one bad Transformer.
It's
Could
like
be. Could be.
it's like what's her name? Who does all those Kiss the Girl? Katy Perry. She does a good song and a bad song and a good song and a bad song, and I don't listen to her and don't point at it. And
All
no
her
one talks about
songs
it.
are good.
And we're musically critiquing her.
But I think
Katy Perry, the show.
Sandstorm. They
Oh.
want a G1 Sandstorm, don't we? We've had two Sandstorms now, not the original G1
Yeah,
Sandstorm.
was the last
Yeah,
one we-
definitely want the G1 one.
Was
Definitely.
the last one we had the Thrilling 30 one? Which is a
No,
very good figure,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. But have we had
Yeah.
that since then?
But we've had the plane, the Conehead Sandstorm.
Yeah, but that's not the same character. is
Yeah,
it?
but what I meant is the names. They seem to like Sandstorm apart from the original.
You need
figures.
this Sandstorm, a Swarder.
This is Transformers Legacy Prime RC, so based off the Transformers Prime version of the character. But this is the thing they're doing. They're turning all these characters into, I suppose, G1-esque versions of themselves.
And I like it.
So-
I approve.
This is
It works.
multiverse. This is multiverse, isn't it? This is almost
Yeah,
like
they're bringing it in and they're
multiverse,
calling it the multiverse. But I mean, they said themselves in the one of the broadcasts that it's basically turning it into a more generation style. So imagining these characters in that way, and I think it works for her. A bike mode's pretty cool.
I think that looks astonishingly good. I think to get a good bike mode as well out of that robot
there's
mode.
The best Prime as well next to her.
Yeah,
looking
definitely
good.
Netflix Prime.
I wonder
Let's
who'll be riding her.
let's compare it. I think I can
mean-
think of someone might want to lift.
Ian's a
I
bit
wasn't-
big
I
for
wa-
her.
I wasn't
He
ready
doesn't
for
get to
that.
say that often. But,
You need to let me get my lube out for that.
Cybertron Trainbot Getsui. Now we had lots of pictures of this, which were the kind of like the official release ones. I don't know. Again, not collecting masterpiece scale. I'm not sure. The train mode looks much smaller than the other one.
It does. I can see now why Shuki has a lot more kibble on the back, because obviously it's just panel folding.
Yeah, that was the original, obviously, from 1987, and then
this looks better, but it still looks. I mean, that looks fucking hideous. That looks horrendous. Hideous. I just combined hideous and horrendous. Hideous and horrendous. I'm just so shocked. It shocked me, that did. That's a thing of nightmares. Horrendous.
That's masterpiece for you.
I really hope that for the masterpiece collectors who want this one, that looks better when we actually see proper reveal photos, because that does look a bit. I don't know. It just.
Would you want to ride on this train?
Ian's meme was fantastic, right? You saw that it was the Joey from Friends. It was like going like that, with like when they shared the silhouette back in like whenever the show was, and then they shared that, and Joey's like,
yeah, he's not happy with the kids.
It's God. It just proportions are out of there. Kibble. It just.
There's a lot of train on the back of the leg there, isn't there?
It looks fucking lazy.
Do you think they should just sell it as a chug and go down to 50 quid and then we can buy it, Andy?
Okay, why not, eh?
Oh, it just even the leg there that sort of just got, it's just kibble. It hasn't even attempted. They just folded the back over. They haven't even attempted to actually get rid of that at the back. They've just folded it over and gone, "We're done, lads. That's it." Pub.
Didn't they confirm that size-wise, it's not much bigger than, say, a Voyager, kind of your average Voyager? In fact, I think it was Cyclonus. Somebody had put a picture of Cyclonus alongside it.
It was a bit bigger, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. Although I suppose that's the ears, but, still. Anyway, there's the two of them together that we've got so far. And there's some more in-hand photos, I think, of the Getsui one later on.
In hand? Actually, in hand? Like,
yeah.
A real hand.
Somebody's actually got
a real hand. Or a chug hand?
I can't remember. We'll have to wait and see. This is from Dane Truck Reports, but it's been shared from Twitter by Andrew, Soren, and Joe with the Mana 14. Now, I don't know if either of them actually created this, but this is this fan concept art of Erector and Hightower using the kind of pipes mold and using the Ironworks mold to create Erector, basically, which was interesting.
Clever.
A lot of people were sharing this around on social media and getting quite excited and saying, "Oh yes, this would be great. Hasbro should do this." But what was really interesting was the Clutter Desk, our Nathan, is actually already making one of these as a custom, I think, for somebody.
Cool.
So it's obviously not a completely new idea, unless maybe that person who did the design work contacted Nathan and got him to do the job. I'm not sure. But it was just really interesting. Everybody's like, "Wow, this is incredible," and Nathan was just like, here you go.
Is it for you, Andy? Because
no. Do you know what? If I'd have seen that design, I probably would have done, because I actually think it looks really cool. If it comes out as good as that. And then we had Junkyard.
If you had seen that design, would you have got the Erector?
Oh, definitely. And it would have been like TFN. I'd have just passed my Erector around so everybody can have a good, play with it like we did at TFN. Anyway, Junkyard has kind of been revealed. We've finally seen him. Firstly, he was leaked. So we got photos like this and the description. And of course, there was the debate. Is it real? Is it not? But then it turns out it is, as far as we're aware. So we've got lots of photos of it now. And again, might be Sheffertron who's actually managed to get this in hand. But yeah, so there you have Junkyard.
Sheffertron, if you watch the show, get in touch.
Yeah, but he also did a review of Legacy Skids. I think it was him. Or are these from Prime versus Prime? I can't remember. So many people reviewing these things early, it's hard to keep up. But I mean, I think when we share a photo of Junkyard and Skids together, I think, Jamie, it was you who said, "Oh, is that the masterpiece Skids at first?" Which, I don't know, is it quite close?
That, Jamie. I had to clean my computer after spitting coffee over it that morning.
Yeah,
that was the only thing you spit over that.
Yeah, you spilled coffee.
Yeah, all right, but the coffee was the straw,
is that
right?
Based on the monitor, Alexis? No,
the coffee. I was like, that's enough. I'm not having any of that.
Oh dear. But there you go. You got these photos because some of the photos that kind of were leaked out were basically this photo, but with Skids cut out of it, which amused me a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. the fact of the matter is the Retgar mold. I'm glossing over Skids a bit here because we've seen it before, but the Retgar mold is really good. I was a bit unlucky with the QC on mine, but again, it's another Junkyard and a good one. From
Army
a good mold,
building, building.
Well, this is it. You can.
So KFC, right? Keith's Fantasy Club, or the sort of like dotted line to X-Transwars, they have released so far 6 different variants. You've got Dump Truck, is it, or Junkyard, and you've got obviously Retgar, and they've released 4 other different bots, and they've got 4 more which they're going to release later this year. So 10 different molds for Junkyard. So you can do army building. The question is, how many would you, if there were like, how many different molds would you want to buy? What's the
60?
Amount of,
if I just had to say a number.
We want a proper army of them.
Yeah.
From the planet of junk. And wasn't it Junkyard? I read somewhere with Junkyard was the Junkion who, in the comic book story with Death's Head, when Unicron's head was being rebuilt on Junkion because he was mind controlling them, it was Junkyard who approached Death's Head and basically talked him into trying to help. So he is a character. And then we got back to this Getso Eye. So these are the in-hand photos that somebody's taken of it, which is a work. They described it as something like a work in progress model or something like that. So it is the figure, but it's not a finished version. Okay. So you can get an idea. I think
that would surprise me if that was finished. That would surprise me if that was finished from Hasbro. I mean,
you mean Takara?
I don't care. I really don't care.
Takara, masterpiece.
Shit rolls downhill. Looks the same. Looks the same. That looks really bad. Look at that chest. I mean, I know it's it's a working model. I was like, oh my god, the back looks shit. The front looks shit.
I'm wondering whether that's transformed properly though, because it does look different to the photos we saw before. I have to have a look later on and get a bit of comparison going.
I mean, even the train looks pretty. It's pretty wanky with that hinge on the top. It just.
Anyway, then we'll go on to 3 Zero's Bumblebee, kind of Bumblebee movie style, I suppose. It's certainly supposed to be a cross between the Cybertronian and this one, Earth one.
So this is quite exciting actually. So 3 Zero. So 3 Zero are actually releasing a whole new line. So if you look at the non-transforming line of Transformers, you've got RED, which are like this thing here, right, which you can buy they're like in sale for 13 quid, or you can buy them for 25 pounds new. You've got the Super 7s, which are the super high detail ones, which are bigger than those ones, and they're sort of 50 to 100 pounds. And then 3 Zero, which are normally the sort of the 12-inch ones. Now, what 3 Zero have got licenses for is to do their own stylized line of smaller bots. So this is I've got this on pre-order. I can't remember where I bought it from, but this is about 55 quid. They've got this 5 inches tall, so same height as that Bumblebee I just shared. But they've also got a Prime, and this is in the region of 60 quid, like a fully articulated bot. And then again, you've got this face, which is the toy face, and they've actually got a cartoon face as well.
Yeah.
So like it's almost like a halfway house of, and
so it's got Prime expensive Action Master.
Yeah.
That's the more the cartoon face.
That's it. They've got a Prime coming out as well, so they're releasing a whole new line of this. And 3 Zero, if anyone's got a 3 Zero product, they'll tone to the fact that they normally are really good value for money. They are such good value. Obviously, it won't be quite as good as the sort of the £200 ones, but again, it's half the size, just under. So
then we've had the controversy that surrounded Dragstrip, or kind of controversy. So we have kind of seen some pictures of Dragstrip before. Again, this is somebody who's got it in hand. The controversy being that some people apparently were kicking off because of the not much of a surprise reveal we had, which is that the figure does, in fact, and split in two, which obviously adds to the rumors that Hasbro Takara are doing the Stunticons in the same way that many third-party companies have. So, these bits will just clip on to the trailer, which the trailer will form the main part of the body of Menasor.
Because it's not as if Menasor from Combiner Wars was known for its stability, was it?
I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'll stick with my Combiner Wars." I'm sorry, but the Combiner Wars one, I know those people who love the Stunticons, don't get me wrong, but it was a bit shit. I mean, the individual figures were all right, but actually the combined mode, it's the thing with the Combiner Wars. A lot of well, no, not a lot, but some of the Combiner Wars combiners, you had to buy the upgrade kits to actually make them look decent. And I just hope that this one, maybe they do take a leaf out of some of the third parties books and it does look a bit better. And then
it's very similar to the DX9 one, actually. Out of all the ones that have been out, I think it looks very similar to even the paint apps on it look very similar to DX9.
And then we have this wonderful photo from you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Jamie?
This is lift ticket, right?
Yeah, and that just came to the UK, and it's from Robot Recruits. So I don't know if he's got any more in stock. He's probably sold them out on them by now. But yeah, so a lot of people in the UK quite happy to get lift ticket. What a horrendous name, early.
And then a bit of a nice comparison shot there with the three lads.
I mean, he is amazing colours. He does look at first. When I first saw him, I thought the colours were ridiculous, and I thought, he looked like, a gender studies student, or the latest Scotland Away strip. But looking at him now, the colours work so well, and I'm not saying they're duller; they're just stronger and not so bright, and it's really awesome in hand. It's a really good looking figure, and I think the colours really help to bring out the detail better than the other two figures, which are much darker. And you miss a lot of that sort of detail and sometimes even character from the figure.
It looks very similar to the that BotCon's exclusive, which had the Santa Claus head and the Jack Skellington head, which came out very recently, didn't it? In the same mold, but for a third party company. Same color scheme.
Well, I mean, he was based on a sort of Diaclone figure he hasn't really got a sentient personality. He's not a transformer. He had like an AI or something. He's a Diaclone, and I don't think he's ever been an actual transformer as such. He's got no stories, I think, apart from when he's been a Diaclone. So I don't know how the Diaclones work. If it's an army of them, they're like a mech with AIs, and they can be piloted.
As Paul left. Oh, he's said 2 seconds. I just need to share the third party. So if you can hear me, Paul. Can you hear me, Paul?
I can share it, yeah.
I was like,
I see you've got the power now, have you?
There we go. We can go off on a tangent.
Power. Here we go.
On a tangent.
Sherry. Right, can you see that okay?
Yes.
This is MMC, isn't it?
Yes.
It is.
Thank you.
We've
got a few photos of this. Go, Alexis.
Imminent from MMC. Kapow have it. I don't know if Omega Lock have it. $129.99. They've got two different variations. This is the IDW version, which comes with the difference is the wings are split like you can see there, and the chest plate forms a single beast, like I did in IDW. And the second version they're doing, MMC, which is an extra £10, it has the chest plate forms two different beasts, and the wings are one piece, or like the Toon version. So depending on which one you want. So I've got one of these on order, but then I've also gone for the X Transpots for the Toon one. Because again, I thought this was the same different characters when I ordered them at the same time from MMC, which I was an idiot for. But Kapow kindly refunded me the second one. So this looks really good. About to drop, I think, February. I think this is so now. Obviously, now we've got Chinese New Year, haven't we? End of this month. So
anyway, there you go.
So we'll find out. So I don't remember this guy in IDW at all. Maybe I'm not far enough.
He's in there. He's in the. You might not have got to that point. You will see him. You will see him towards the end of second half, I suppose, of the Lost Light. You'll see.
I think I've just come up to the part where you sort of find that mystery stowaway, and there's a big battle, and then someone sacrifices himself, and they come back, and you realize that someone obviously keeps sacrificing, and it's like the Chromedome story. And I've just gone past that bit really. So it looks really good.
He's not happy about that, Alexis. You need to read faster. So he comes with two faces, doesn't he? What was this again, Alexis?
So if you've ordered X Transpots Jensen, they're notorious for doing this. There is a very crucial part of the instructions.
That was it. Yes,
that was missed out of the transformation. So if you bought Jensen, go on X Transpots on Facebook. Have a look at this. If you do look at instructions, if you
they could just pause this, couldn't they? If they're watching this now, they could just pause it and use that. But Either way.
If you want to
Screenshot
take a
it.
picture, screenshot now.
And we move on. Jazzes.
There's a lot of jazz.
Jazz-eye?
So you got Generation Toy top left, Toy World in the middle. You've got Transform and Rollout on the top right, Fans Toys bottom left, Make Toys in the middle there, and then Cartoon Boy on the bottom right. So,
is this just literally a comparison shot then, so you can see what you're getting for your money?
So Generation Toy has always been more IDW-esque. Toy World has always been more Toy-esque. Transform and Rollout have done a bit of halfway house, and then Make Toys and Fans Toys have always tried to be toon accurate. There you go.
There we go. Hot spot, anyone?
There we go. He's looking hot, I'll tell you that. That's a pretty damn good sculpt, that is. He's looking good there. Then we've got the G2 colors of Impetus, which is Vortex from MMC. Which
these are the these are some of the official shots, aren't they?
That's it. Of the
nice.
One of the Combatico ones, which is really cool.
Vortex
in
his G2 colors.
That's it. When he went through his rave phase.
I like how he's camouflaged, like he's going to a neon nightclub or something.
I was going to say,
that's it.
Camouflage for another planet.
That's it. He is. He blends into all the festivals.
It is nice looking. I mean, obviously the original colors are nice, but there's something about these colors that's it's got that feeling like late 80s, early 90s feeling. You know, when Transformers was like G2 mad colors. Why the hell not?
It looks like they've gone a little bit. I don't know. It might be the Photoshop or the light, or whatever. But again, it's almost one like very appropriate. It's almost like a new age paint tap on there. And again, this is a new age paint tap.
Yes.
I have no idea what this is called or where it's from.
Well, the character is Toxitron, but I can't remember what it was
new
called
age.
by New Age.
It's new age. It's new age's Prime David. Which
yeah.
Has been redone. It looks like almost when I saw it, I thought it was like a homage to Black Zarax. What's the little psychic called, which turns into the staff? You know, you've got
Black Rorichi. That's what his name is.
Rorichi, is it? Yeah.
Rorichi,
the little gold thing which came with it. Yeah, it looks like that.
It's fast track painted gold.
Fast track. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So if you like a psychedelic, if you like what's it called? What's it called? Cyberpunk Prime. Then here you go.
And someone's jazzed over his trailer.
You know when you've been.
I need to see a doctor if that's.
Do you think the designers got a bit excited and then someone came in and went, "What the hell?" And they went, "No, that's the design. Honest, that's the design."
In all honesty, these next couple of photos, I couldn't remember, and I didn't have time to ask. I couldn't remember if we showed these last week. I didn't think we did. I think you shared them this week, didn't you, Alexis?
Yes. So this is Beachcomber. So far left, we have Magic Square, which is the original Beachcomber, which came out with a 2-pack with Sea Spray. Very
crap.
Very... Do you know what?
Do you know what? Sorry.
Do you know? He can hold his little gun. So screw you.
Well, he must be good then.
You know, the robot mode is actually not bad. Middle is New Age, and then the far right is Iron Factory, which looks like it's not Beachcomber, it's Beefcomber. He's fucking huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that after he's been down the gym, hitting the gym for a while?
Lockdown.
That's it. So yeah, what lockdown do you have? So again,
PSE.
left is the
We're
left
not
hand
talking about Keith.
is Make Toys, bloody Magic Square again. And I think if you look at the robot mode, Magic Square, it looks pretty good. It's not, you know, I think, and I think the middle one actually, New Age, actually looks very almost toy-esque, doesn't it? I mean, it reminds me very much of how the toy used to look. I think it might be the head sculpt.
I still think I'll take. Is it the Power of the Primes one we got a few years back? I think I still take that over those.
And then you got Iron Factory. So I'm going to go by the New Age one. I think. The only other Sea Spray. So if you sell the Magic Square, you've got to buy a second Sea Spray, and the other Sea Spray you buy, I think, is the Iron Factory one. If you're interested,
right.
Mega Tank from Monocrat.
There
was a video. Nice. So if you Google it, you can find a video of it actually of him transforming as well. The full transformation. It's on Facebook as well. And I must say that the full transformation of this looks pretty impressive because again, when it comes out and you've got tracks, you've got bingo players there on the left hand side. There's Shockwave, which is got the controversial head sculpt. Love it or hate it. And then I believe that is 3-0 Prime. I don't think it is the Toy World. I think it's 3-0. It's got slightly lighter paint. Yeah, it's 3-0 because it's got the insignias on the shoulders there, which they're actually painted on there, not watermarked on.
Right.
So he's in scale. He's in scale with what you want. If you want the sort of real verse, we won't call it Bumblebee verse because not all these are in the Bumblebee movie. If you want the real verse, here first, folks. Real verse MPs, here they are.
I think Impactor's comment here are fighting words.
What was that? Sorry.
Impactor
Okay.
put it on the main screen.
Okay.
That's the last photo, by the way. So that is the end of the third-party news for today.
You can't just say a comment like that.
Because I can't see
it's on the screen.
what I'm sharing.
You've got to.
Transformers were good before Combined Wars, then they went almost backwards, then had to get better again with War for Cybertron.
You've got to back it up really with examples. We need proof here.
C-coins, Imba.
I mean, we all know
I think it's true.
Face.
It's not true at all. A high face was the pinnacle. You're not going to get better than that, are you? As Paul would attest to if he was here. I mean, Paul would be waxing lyrical about CJ face right now, but we don't have time, so we should probably move on slightly.
I think we peaked it really personally. I went, wow.
What, G1?
Yeah, it just got real.
There was a discussion on Twitter about the worst G1 figure. I don't know. When I think of G1, and if somebody said to me what was the worst figure you saw, Broadside, I think would be up there because the G1 figure of Broadside is pretty crap. It's just a brick. But then Wheelie just looks dumb. There's nothing about that toy.
Do you feel that hunchback people were represented?
Oh, really? I'm not pretty sure that's not what it was going for. Is that how we're defending it?
Ahead of the time.
You hate hunchbacks. That's what it is.
Can you imagine being a kid? I'm sorry if any of you watching the show are one of these children. Can you imagine being a kid in the playground? You go, "What'd you get?"
I'm sorry.
Broadside. What'd you get? Optimus Prime. Hate you. At least Broadside. When you threw him at your friend and hit him, it knocks him out, and he still worked. You throw Rodimus around, he's going to break.
You could put him through a window, couldn't you?
Exactly. That's it. So you can put him through the Broadside.
What do you think was the worst G1 bot? Go on, that'd be an interesting. And we won't do it as a proper discussion because we already have one lined up. But like, if you had to think back to G1, and we all lived through it, what would it, in the chat as well? What was the worst G1 bot?
Ironhide, just because I was disappointed to look nothing like the cartoon.
Could be, yeah. I think that whole thing.
No, he was the one with his head shot off, like with Megatron.
Yes, we've had that joke before, haven't we?
Never gets old.
Oh dear, yeah, Ironhide would be up there and Ratchet just because they didn't look. I can remember somebody at school bringing in Ironhide, and we were all like, "Is that Ironhide?" Doesn't like what I saw in the cartoon there.
Not my Ironhide.
Wheelie, I'm going to throw Wheelie out there definitely. Wheelie was a poor figure.
Actually, Armwood. I liked it.
Did you?
There wasn't that many bad figures, was there? Really, if you look at like.
There probably were, but don't forget we look at it through that lovely, nostalgic kind of tint, don't we? We look back and happy memories. But I bet for people like for those Transformers fans now who were born when frigging the Unicron trilogy or something was on, I wonder if they look back at some of those figures and go, "This bit shit."
I've got one.
RJ, go young. What do you think?
I've got one. Every fucking Action Master ever produced.
Do you know what? My attitude to the Action Masters has softened recently, and I don't know if that's because of mainframe popping up in the arc again, and then starting to think back to what they were like.
Megatron's tank, I used to turn into like a walking robot. So you put his like purple tank bit on top, and you could make almost like arms and legs out of it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing at
that was pretty cool.
Ed's comment. Kids who put it. Harsh in your school, Ed. Jesus.
Ed, we feel sorry for your childhood. Were you a giver or a receiver, Ed?
Oh, dear.
What are we turning into? It's getting a bit risky.
Right.
Paul
Okay.
goes, Micromasters, they were cool. Jazz. Oh. I'm reading the chat. I'm reading the chat.
Yeah.
Braun was pretty nasty. I agree. Braun and Outback were pretty shocking. Those,
you might want to read
long leg.
If you haven't, you might want to read the internal chat between the four of us, Alexis, because we just had some news come through that might affect things for the rest of the night.
What comes next?
Oh,
so who wants to make the announcement?
Have you got Fanstoys Innuendo, Jay?
Has anyone so basically, sorry for those people watching who are thinking what's going on. We've just had a little message from Paul that unfortunately he has had to leave the stream because of a work issue, and he's got to go and deal with it. So he's been pulled away. So Paul is the one who has access to all of our videos and clips.
No, I could do some. I just don't know what's next. What do you mean
this is going to be fun now, guys. You guys are in for a treat now. If you ever wondered what would it take for one of their videos to get deleted off YouTube, you're about to find out.
Is it only fair that we should save that discussion for when Paul's back so he can back me up?
No.
Which discussion? Again, though, Alexis, it's just, don't be so defensive. It's okay. We're not saying Masterpiece is crap. We're just saying other people are commenting about it. But we'll get to that. Let's not dive into the discussion yet.
There was another idea. I had another idea, but I had another idea.
We're
But
not
no one can.
We've got no problem.
Is it Rohan next? I think it is. Let's go to Rohan.
I can't find Rohan's videos. That's going to be fucking difficult.
Oh, okay.
Rohan.
Have you got Fanstoys Innuendo?
No. What I have got, and you've watched. I know that might have went over your head, but I'll show it again just in case. Not that one.
This is peak.
We now return to the Transformers.
So, Alexis, what have you got? This is as much time as you want. Make them fall asleep.
Nice and slow. Go grab some of those boxes from the back.
You know what? Today I've only got two things this week.
Do them slowly.
I've got a lot of things. So I've been waiting for the Moon Studio train box to come out, and Thundercracker to come out, and Jensen and Defamation Space, and they're all bundled together from a Megalock, but they only went out today because the train bots were delayed. So I said, so again, they'll come out in the same week. I was like, I don't want to pay postage 6 times. I'll just pay postage once, right? So they come on Monday. So yeah, next week's gonna be a lot of stuff. This week, not so much.
I wish it was next week.
I bought myself a Toy World crank, and if you have no idea what Toy World crank is,
I know their name.
It's
that cup, isn't it?
It is. You'll make me big. I can show what a cup looks like.
Of course, we can make you big, Jamie.
So Toy World,
add it to
Toy World. They actually do more toy-esque back in the day. So they did the Toy World Spanner, which is a Springer.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
And then it's a fairly clean figure. It's just a little bit dated. It looks actually very much like IDW Cup I found, and I bought it because I wanted to have almost like an IDW Cup for my record shelf. But so I also bought. It brings me on to my second pickup. I bought a lovely. I got some head of Rohan this week, so I popped around to Rohan's place. He gave me head, and then I need to pay him actually. Sorry, Rohan, I still need to pay you actually. It reminds me. Chase me. Don't like that.
Just leave the money on the dresser next time.
So I got this little head. I got the head. I got the head, right, which is like with the cigar head. And I thought about putting it on this guy to see if it would work. And it's a little bit too small, unfortunately. So it doesn't quite work. And this guy's quite big as well. So he doesn't quite fit. He doesn't quite fit with the sort of the Wreckers vibe. So I'm going to have to unbox my Studio Series Cup now, I think, finally.
Has Rohan still got some of those available? Because for those people who he's only got one left now.
One left.
Wow.
So if you want a Rohan head, if you want Rohan to give you some head,
you want head from Rohan.
He charges £15 plus postage, and it's amazing.
That's pretty cheap. Postage.
Look, anyone watching this, right? I've never been able to get head in the post, so you know
it's a magic.
And afterwards, he smokes a cigar.
That's it.
That's what it's there for.
This is an appeal. It's
Well,
not
that's
just
what he
for
calls
Christmas.
what he's putting in your mouth. I'm not sure. Are you sure this is a cigar?
And then I
It's quite small.
got from Martin Carl, kind sir. I got Movie Prime, the MPM Prime, which is the Takara version of Bumblebee Prime. And I've ordered as well to go with it the upgrade kit, which gives it bigger legs, different head, and like in truck mode, it's got those bat ears. Gets rid of that shit as well. So
I think did we show that kit once, that add-on kit?
Yeah,
I'm sure we did.
Yeah. So I've got this guy because again, it's potentially to go on this shelf over here to replace my Toy World Prime at the back here. See, it's big enough. I don't know if he's gonna be big enough. We'll see. He's really quite solid. You can hear obviously he's got ratchets pretty much everywhere. So
Ratchets for days.
Even in his arms, got the little soft ratchets, which is quite nice. So I haven't transformed him yet. I haven't done anything with him. He's on the shelf. I'll have a muck about with him at some point. He's pretty cool though. So I was disappointed that I missed out. So Kapow had him in the sale. He was 130 new. Kapow had him on for 85 plus postage, and then Martin kindly had him online for I think 95. I said, "Can we do it all in? Because that's the same price as Kapow." Then he said, "Yeah, why not?" So I've got that there as well. Oh, I have actually got one other thing. Sorry.
No, go on.
Go on for it.
We'll talk amongst ourselves for a moment.
I got a bit of a grail in Neckerwald. Someone
on.
was selling April O'Neil.
And the foot soldier.
No. April. So this April O'Neil. If you go on Evil Bay, you're looking at about 150.
But would the foot soldier also not be quite rare then? Because they're a 2-pack, aren't they?
No.
So you can't get one without the other, can you? Unless somebody sells them separately, of course.
Yeah, I bought 5 foot soldiers for 90 quid. So
army building.
Yeah,
I used to love the original foot soldier figure, even though it just looked like a hunched over weird thing. Oh, look at that! So many memories.
So I've got now. So I've got some. I'm complete now. My turtles are complete. I've got the turtle van on order, but like I don't care about any of the sub characters. I don't even care about. So Casey Jones, the other one, which was cost you about 120 quid. I don't care about that. I just wanted April O'Neil to go because again she is like part of the original cast. I think Casey's like he's the second one in. Bebop and Rocksteady, I think they are as well. I've got Shredder, I've got Krang, and I've got the Turtles, Splinter. I've got Dr. Baxman. I don't care about him. And then lots of foot. I've got like 12 or 15 foot soldiers. So that's why.
Are they still boxed, or have you like started a display of them yet?
No, they're all boxed still.
Right.
So I need again. It's only the shelves are getting there. As you can see, there's less boxes. This is one big box here because I've got the X2 big computer out, which that's the box for the X2 big computer, which is basically Teletran 1 MP size, and it's 12 inches. No, yeah, 12. It's 32 centimeters.
12
tall.
inches. I feel represented.
Yeah, so it's about 12 inches tall. It's 32 centimeters tall, and it's about 45 centimeters wide, and then it's about 15 centimeters deep. You can put a tablet in it. It's just massive. So I'm trying to get
depth is important.
Wow. Girth is important. Girth is important.
I'd like to say if Paul was here, he'd be controlling as well.
We're loose.
Oh, nice. There were some nice pickups actually. So, Jamie, have you got anything?
And the other thing I should quickly show.
Right. Go on, Alexis.
Alexis has got another thing.
Go on, Alexis.
Very quickly, I transform my. Sorry, I'm just going to.
Unicron.
Don't say sorry now. This is the one day you don't need to say sorry.
So what's it called? Perfect Effect Warden into the head of Fortress Maximus.
Oh yeah.
And this actually,
I didn't realize that with us, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't realize this actually goes on the original G1 Fort Max.
Yes, I think it does, doesn't it? It's designed to fit onto it.
There you go. I found the upgrade kit from somewhere, which is really annoying because it's twice the price, and the person knows it. And it's twice the price it should be, but again, I can't find it anywhere else. So I'm like, and without it, he's the same size as a chug figure, like he's the same size as Titans with TR Threading 30s Springer. Without the upgrade kit, if you put the upgrade kit on him, it makes him a bit beefier, and he's pretty much in almost like the same esque as what he was on IDW. So that's why I'd like to get that kit eventually. So I'm just sort of like, it's just a lot of money for the kit. So that's me. That's been my week in Transformers. Thank you.
Awesome. I've had some pickups today, and actually I should have made Alexis actually bigger. I've forgotten. So in the spirit, I won't make myself bigger.
No, make yourself bigger. It's always
not
better
because I don't have the technical ability. Nothing
bigger than
to
12
do with it.
inches. Surely not.
Oh God! No. No.
Full screen. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
That's much better. You know, I'm beautiful, but not when it's that close up. I got Soundwave last week. Very solid bot. I actually really do like it. I wasn't sure, but once I got it, fantastic. Very solid, easy to pose, very articulate. You know, transform into a weird spaceship thing. But absolutely loved it. There's some photos on Twitter and there's some photos on the Transformers UK forum where you'll find a lot of our photos from the show there, as well as Twitter and Alexis' Instagram account, Transformers the Show Instagram. So you'll find some photos there. I also took advice from Andy. Well, when I say it was more like jealous advice because I was jealous, but I bought Grinder, you know, nice and cheap, you know, when you
We're all getting on the
with
grinder.
that. You know, well, when I say cheap, it's never cheap to buy a Transformers toy, but you know, if you knock a pound off, suddenly it's a bargain. Yes, you know.
My wife's
you must
watching.
get it. You know.
My wife's watching. It's very cheap.
Oh, yeah, it was £5. You know, multiplied 4 times.
He is a good figure. I like him.
Yes. Well, hopefully once I get him out of the box, I'll like him as well. If not, I will be very angry and disappointed.
You're not going to blame me for this.
Yes, I will. Angry letters.
Oh, God. I'll be on the
Angry
list.
emails, I should say. But
I'll be dead to him, I tell you.
And the other thing which I got this week, God, I'm a bit scared to show photos.
Yeah, just go for it.
That's what I'm worried about. No. So I got Core Hot Rod. And you know, he's a funny little wee figure. You know, he's a bit if you want to get it, you know, if you like the idea of it, you got the other core figures, why not? And I guess a lot of people have been using them with I've forgotten the name, is it Galaxy Prime, Star Prime, whatever he's called, the sort of special Takara thing that came out a couple of years back. You know, they get him as a sort of a version of the Micromaster Hot Rod.
Is it Star Convoy?
Yeah, Star Convoy. So a lot of people get him for that. And I know a lot of people complained about the gap in the back of the head. And to be honest, the way the figure's constructed, you don't even notice the gap in the back of the head. And I know there's supposed to be third-party add-ons, which I'm not too happy about, which would fix that. But he's a posable little sword. And, you know, he's quite cool. There he is with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, which, when you look at Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, he's still just such a gorgeous bot. And they are both in their car modes. There he is with the rest of the core figures, you know, which quite unique. I mean, my God, if you're interested in scale, it's not exactly that brilliant when you think about Optimus Prime, you know, being smaller, well, same size as Bumblebee. Out of the core lot there, I do love Soundwave the best. Soundwave just looks brilliant in whatever size or scale he ever is. Starscream's got a fantastic transformation. I think it would almost work for like deluxe size. Obviously, there'd be a little bit more panel shifting they could do and hide stuff, but you know, this transformation for Starscream is amazing. And Megatron is a bit complicated. You know, these core figures, you know, is not as easy as the same, apart from Bumblebee, which is a bit simplistic. And obviously, Hot Rod there himself, because the whole front panel of the car you see there comes from his legs. You know, that's like a fake chest you see there. That is not a part of the car. You'll see on the outside, that's underneath. And there he is with Rodimus, you know, the old Legends scale. I also got Slammer this week, which is brilliant. Quite delighted with that, with his wonderful chainsaw. And there he is with Six Gun. I think it's Six Gun. And yes, you know, and he's another wonderful bot. You know, and it's just good. If you've got Metroplex, you know, it's excellent to have. It sort of completes the trio there. And he has got a great, you know, transformation. And the tank works quite well. In fact, out of all this sort of, I would say these sort of like weaponizers, I would say that was the most fun I had of transforming. as well. You felt like you were transforming it into something. And obviously, there's another, a lot of people have been using, to make him a chainsaw just for Metroplex, which I haven't got an image of. But yes, that's also quite cool. Yeah. So that was.
He's got an alt mode as well. Like if you see, like he's got like a heavy duty, so you can sort of, I think, fold his chest up. So he's got a bit back cable. You can almost fold him up, so he's got like a bit of a beefier chest. Like
I mean, it's the back cable you take off to make the chainsaw, his weapon. So I mean that's quite good. And as I said before, like Hot Rod, it's like a fake chest, and all this comes from the legs, which I was quite surprised about when I transformed it. It's quite good. And thanks again to Robot Recruits. Lift ticket. I mean, what a horrendous freaking name. I mean, Jesus, you just think they can call it something else. I don't know, Gutless or I don't know, something better, because he's such a cool looking bot. And I like that Vecca thing when he transforms, that he just thinks he deserves, I don't know, a more action type name. I mean, I know the name comes from a G.I. Joe figure, and because Hasbro had the license for that, so they thought, well, we could just multitask and use that. But I'd rather they called them the Baroness, or something like that. Said a lift ticket. I'm just not happy about that. But that's my personal quibble, And Andy, I know you said you've got nothing.
No, and I wish I did now, because I feel like it would have helped. So what I will show, just because it's near me, because I was messing around with them. It's not a pickup at all. It was just something I picked up because I'm not getting a pickup. I've been messing around with a lot of old bots recently, and I just wanted to say how much I love Piranacon again. It's just freaking awesome. Is there anybody who doesn't like this frigging color scheme? I mean, it's just great. And this is the G1 version, obviously. We won't necessarily talk about the Selects version or anything. Don't want to trigger anyone, but yeah, really great. It's not a pickup. I haven't just got it. I've had it for years. But it's mostly been up on a frigging shelf. I just haven't messed around with it. And then that's the one thing I'll say sometimes is when you don't pick up a bot, it's nice to actually go back to some of the old ones and like have a mess around. You remember how much you frigging love these things. So yeah, for those people who I sometimes see, bemoaning the fact they don't get to pick up all of the bots, well, go back to some of your older ones, have a mess around with them, and appreciate how good they are. So we've got some really good stuff.
What we're going to try to do is show Rohan. I don't know if this is a video. It might be an old video. If it is, we'll just watch it anyway.
They're all good. They're all gold. We'll call it classic Rohan.
Wait a minute. You were saying something, Alexis?
I was going to say, in case it's porn, then for our more eclectic viewers, enjoy.
Kitchen roll.
Mate! He's
taking the game up.
Welcome to another edition of Rohan's Corner, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. And today we're going to be looking at my favourite top 3 Transformers that have the colour blue, and so on and so forth. This is Rumble or Frenzy. For the purposes of this, we'll just call.
I've just been told this is an old one. Is it an old one?
It is.
We'll have to show it next week, Rohan, because we haven't got the video.
Rohan, we're so sorry. It's just technical difficulties.
Rohan, stick a link in the chat. It's we can go to Rohan's channel.
Imagine if you're watching Soccer Saturday and Jeff Stelling just had to run off and leave the others. That's basically where we are right now. So we're finding our way through. So we'll
have to do a double special next week.
2 helpings of Rohan.
Yeah.
It's almost
Rohan just wants a week off, and then you can do that.
Sorry, Rohan. Right, what should we do? Well, we can't do Fanstoys Innuendo because hasn't Paul got all that?
Yes.
And it's such a high quality feature. I know how upset everyone's going to be looking forward to Fanstoys Innuendo. So, what have we got after Fans? Oh, Fourplay. Is it time for Fourplay? Do we have
free play? That's quite good.
Should we just read what I put in the note there?
No, I saw that. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Lynn, these are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is DEFCON 1. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon? What do you put in the chat? What do you reckon? Yes?
I don't know. We just started Fourplay.
I will discuss it.
He can be included.
Well,
Yes,
you know
go
what? It's
for it.
funny you should say that. I may have dropped a sneaky PM while you were talking.
Rohan, are you there?
Oh, bless him. He's messaged back. On my way.
Rohan, join Rohan.
You can, anyway, we'll crack on, Alexis. We'll crack on, and the legend that is Rohan will join us.
We will. He can pick up. He knows what we're doing. So
he's watching. I'm sure he's watching.
I just realised I can mute Alexis. Oh fucking hell! This is amazing.
Do it. Fuck off. It's like the power my wife wants.
Who wants to go first for Fourplay? Who wants to go first? Do you want to go on, Alexis?
I've got him here.
You've got him in hand.
Make me suit up. Here we go.
Why is it me?
By all means, me. Oh, this is great. Let's all look at Jamie while Alexis
Jamie can go first.
No,
another one.
We'll just do it like this. We'll do it like this.
Let's do it again. Click on the other bit. Click on the other one. Try the other button.
The other button.
Hey! There we go. Right. So I've got Make Toys Capola, which is quite an old version. Hey, Rohan. Quite an old version of Chromedome. That's what we're doing. Yeah, Chromedome. He is the best pinnacle version of Chromedome there is. So Make Toys did this one very early. They did him and they did Hardhead. He's got his tech specs here, which you can see. He's got his decent sized head, which is actually quite posable. Transformation is okay. He had some issues with the feet originally, but Make Toys were very good. They actually sent you out for free. You just wrote them an email and they sent you out spare parts for the feet, which is fine. He's got a really good alt mode as well. Very toy and toon-esque. I think Chromedome was actually almost like he was very the G1 toy of Chromedome was very much the toon as well. So he's got no back kibble. He's really posable. Got some nice. Oh, that's a decent. You can listen to this. Oh, decent ratchets in his legs there as well. As their feet are a bit fiddly, which is the only thing. But he's and that does fall off. That's the foot. That's the toe that
meant
falls
to
off.
happen.
All part of the show. Nothing to see here. Everyone keeps smiling.
Just keep smiling. Just keep smiling.
So I remember. So the Yes model did knockoffs of these, but it was Make Toys. I believe the rumor was Make Toys actually had overstock, and they then released their own version as a knockoff to sell on the stock as well and help promote the real version. And it's quite funny today. You still see the Yes model and then the original version, and there's still a big price difference between the two, which effectively is still the same bot. But he's quite chunky. If I get I've got a Springer here, which is the Airwolf Springer transformed. He's sort of same sort of size, and this guy is the same sort of. So he's about the same size as Masterpiece Prime. So obviously the headmasters were always quite chunky because it was weird because they were the same size bodies, and then you put a head on top, so it always towered above everything else. And it's been the same for these lots as well. You can see behind me, I've got the iron will there, but even their contact shot as well, which is massive as well. And the two at the front, one of those is Takara, and the other one is Make Toys of Jazz, but the Target Master version. So this is my version of Chromedome. I've had him for a while. I just hope they do the rest of them because they teased Highbrow as well, and then obviously Brainstorm will be last. And it's weird. It's always the same order. It's always Chromedome because Fanstoys did a very similar version. I think they did Chromedome first, and they did. I'm sure Rohan will have Fanstoys on in a little bit, not Steelers Thunder. So that's me. Thank you very much. He's very nice.
He's got some nice chunky shoulders on him, hasn't he? And a good paint
scheme.
He does. Looks of it.
He does. He does. The shoulders aren't ratcheted; they're on balls, so you can kiki juice them if you want. The guns they actually they actually push in on a little clip, so they slot in, so they're not as finicky as like trying to peg in. They have like a slider at the back of the wrist, so you slide it in. He says not finicky. He's trying to do it now. I can't do it. And then you slide it in, but it comes out with very limited force as well, so you won't ever break the actual attachment, the peg, because I know sometimes with Masterpiece trying to peg that thing in is so awkward as well. But it's got good shoulder movement. It's got like a big bus flyer. Look at that. I mean, it comes right out. The shoulder does as well.
Great
There you go.
proposability in those classic Alexis shots.
That's
So,
it. It's got
Rohan, do you need to disappear to get Chromedome, or do you always carry a Chromedome about?
I always have a
Emergency
Chromedome
Chromedome.
in my pocket for you, Jamie.
Andy, could you go next?
Are you scared now? Are you scared?
Jamie needs to calm. Jamie needs to calm
Jamie's like,
down now.
kick him. How do I kick him? I was just gonna say to Alexis, you said they release Chromedome first, and they usually do. Is that third party companies? You mean usually do? Do you think that could be because Chromedome is generally kind of the most popular of those 4 headmasters?
He was the leader, wasn't he? To an
He
extent?
was.
In the Headmasters cartoon, the Japanese series, he was really wasn't. He was more like almost like a hot rod type character in that.
Yeah,
hot-headed young warrior, and that rivalry with Six Shot and all that kind of stuff. I wonder if that's why.
I'll just do some Hard Panther, ladies, fellas.
Okay.
So
I thought you were actually going to transform me.
Oh, there. Oh, there you go.
I thought he was going to transform.
There you go.
I beated them.
Don't give yourself carpal tunnel.
There you go.
All
Carpal
across
tunnel
the
is
country, people will. No, it's just the headmaster. Oh, lovely. Well, thanks.
Yeah,
for
I
that,
always
Andy.
imagine Brainstorm in the Rebirth. Brainstorm had the cool lines. He always put down Scourge. and everything else.
I think Chromedome didn't really do much in the kind of Western cartoon, did he?
Yeah, not really.
Apart from being a bit moany sometimes and stuff like that. But
he used his double guns.
Yeah, well, I did like the double guns. I wish that. Well, we'll get into that in a second. So, is it me? I'll go next. Yeah. I know we were joking, but so I've got obviously for the Generations Chug version, the Titans Return Chromedome, but this is the what do we call it? The kind of classic re-release one that they did. So this is the one that came in the box recently. They were only like 20 quid, and they were a bargain at that. And then, retro, that'll do. Yeah, and then they even cut the price on them. So I would recommend it. It's got the more. See, this is where I wish I'd spent more time taking photos and something. But he has the more G1 toy-esque head, whereas the other one in here. See what I did was I stuck the other one that I had into this box. That one has the more IDW style head. But I just really liked it. I like this mold anyway, and I like this version of the character. But I just think the colours on this particular version of it are better. They're more like the original G1 toy, and I imagine the head sculpt I really like. I wasn't against the IDW head sculpt, but I do think sometimes it works for if the whole thing is done IDW-esque, it works. If not, then it just kind of looks a bit out of place. And it's just a really good, fun bot with a car mode that invokes the G1 version. And it's just really good fun. And as I said, I did get the retro version in the nice box. And we were discussing before the show. It is basically paying 20 quid so that you get a nice box. But the actual figure with the different head, I do actually prefer to the original Titans Return one that I got. So that worked out very nicely for me.
Nice. Informative. I didn't actually know it had a different head.
Yes, Robert... it comes with the Takara. Takara did for slightly different versions, didn't they? They released like a pack of the 4. Was it 4 or 5?
Oh, yes.
6
of them.
Oh, was it 6? There you go. And then what Hasbro seemed to have done is nick them, basically. And
so I think
I don't like the hard head, because the hard head is the normal, like, face one. Whereas I prefer the faceplate look on hard head, so I'm not as bothered about hard head. But I've got highbrow, got Chromedome. Again, Brainstorm I prefer with the faceplate, so I'm not overly fussed about picking up the Brainstorm. But it's a good Chromedome. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't better versions of Chromedome around, because I haven't owned them all, so it's hard for me to say. But of the ones I have had the honor of owning and playing with, I mean, posing like a serious adult collector. This is definitely my favorite of them, and he stands with his other headmaster buddies, looking pretty awesome, really. So yeah, I would highly recommend this for those of you who are Generations collectors, or Chug as we like to call it. But what can you say? 20 quid for that, or 150 quid for Alexis's. You choose.
No, You can get mine for about 70-80 quid if you look for the right place. Again,
you can because you troll everything.
Robert Kopp, I think this is, and Robert Kopp asked if this is the Japanese style head, and then after what you just said there, I think this is the Japanese style.
That looks to me like the Headmaster's one, rather than it's not like IDW-esque at all.
And and their hard head comes with both, so you can either have the face,
the benefits of choice.
Make Fanstoys did the same as well.
Or for a chug, you just buy the 2 different figures
and still have money left over.
Yes,
that's it.
And get KFC.
Let's not do this though. Let's not turn this into some kind of chug versus third-party war. It doesn't exist.
It's part of the Me Too movement of Transformers World. I too have the exact same figure as Andy, and I concur with nearly everything Andy said. The only thing I will say, he always does remind me of a figure who belongs in the 70s, that sort of those type of colours.
Beige, yeah.
Yes, and my God, I hate the way that screen looks.
Alexis is so offended he's left.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's like the Dallas layout.
Don't you wish though that they'd included, because the weapons are all right, but 2 of those blasters, those G1 style blasters, would have looked pretty freaking
They look
cool.
so
I think that's what they should have done instead of trying to. It's because they tried to fit the Headmaster and say.
I know it was that. I think that whole gimmick, wasn't it? Of we have to have the Titan Masters sit in the weapon. No, Hasbro, you really don't.
And he does look like someone 1970s curtains. The colours he's got there. It's just.
It's like he's wearing all cords.
But I was a favourite for mine from the G1, the original toy era, just because it was a cool transformation. It was nice and simple, and the car was kind of sort of kick-ass. So I think it's weird. I've got a nostalgia connection with this figure, and obviously with the Rebirth, a real strong connection. And I guess with IDW, there's lots of people who love that character, because of the relationships he had, and the fact is, I think the character was very well written, and it gave people, a developed character rather than just typical character, in the background. It's something that had a lot of thought out stories and something that really worked in the idea of Transformers having relationships. It was Eject we had relationships.
Rewind, yeah. And that was quite an interesting love story, wasn't it?
Yeah,
with a lot of twists. It wasn't simple as that they were just 2, star-crossed lovers. It was, there was a lot of ins and outs going on. There was history with Rewind, there was history with Chromedome and everything. And all of that was explored, which was quite, like you say, really well written.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's what a lot of people did. It wasn't there just for the sake of it. They thought out that relationship there, and a lot of those characters, like the Mastermind Creation versions, they come as a 2-pack. I think we deal with that connection. So I think there's a lot to this character, and he's got for people like myself, Rebirth, and people for IDW like it for other reasons which are perfectly justified. Yeah, so Rohan, what have you got?
Well, thanks to the impromptu nature of joining the show this week, I ran up the stairs as quickly as I could to pick up a Chromedome, because I'm that kind of guy. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. And I got the exact same figure as you guys. No, I didn't. Okay. I actually only own 3 Chromedomes. I have the Generation 1 Chromedome, which I thought Andy was going to have. I have the Titans Return version, not the Legends version that you guys showed. And I have the one that Alexis mentioned, the Legends version by Fanstoys. So, like Alexis said, this guy has got a slightly different head sculpt. I don't know if that's going to focus. Yeah, it's not really, but there you go.
There we go.
You got a little bit of white in there, and the mouth is very orange. It's not quite as grey as Alexis's Masterpiece one, which was really nicely detailed, and I actually prefer that. But he does have the nice brown and beige color, just like
it's okay to be wrong.
Well, that's very true. Yeah, that often seems to be my default, doesn't it, Jamie? But he does have the nice dual guns, and he is quite kibble-less, shall we say, all the way around, which is quite nice. There are a couple of big holes down the bottom of his legs there, but that's for transformation, so fair enough. And yeah, I just think he's really cool. Probably wouldn't be my first pick as the best one, but definitely as far as Legends go, he's not bad at all. Very clean, and for the money, value for money, Fanstoys, if those who aren't aware, £20, maybe £20-25 these days, a little bit more.
There's a deal you can have actually. You can buy them all, can't you? They released the pack, didn't they? Of the four Autobots and the 3 Decepticons for £50.
That's right, all the headmasters,
All 7 of them.
Yes,
all 7 of them
for £50.
Not for 50.
I was going to say.
I'll look up it now. I'll tell you
Oh dear me.
Yeah, about
I got all
100
excited.
quid,
Even I was going to buy that.
I mean, they're pretty cool. They're actually, in terms of scale-wise, I've got Studio Series cup here with one of my cup heads on there, just to show you the sort of scale. They're not too far off of a Generations Deluxe figure these days. So, if you wanted to, you could do. But I think because of the nature of the headmasters and how they were supposed to be slightly larger than the standard Transformers after Generation 1, I think probably wouldn't fit in unless you were looking to do something different, shall we say. But yeah, that's my Chromedome there. He fits in really nicely in the Legends display.
Do you fancy a Hard Panther?
I have never transformed him, believe it or not.
Let's do it. So I was looking up. So most Legends you can buy. If you want to buy Legends, I would say like this. You can look on Evil Bay. But Terry's TF Club is a pretty good place to buy. I know Rohan buys a few from there. I buy a few from there. He sends them out. What you see is the price really. The postage is pretty much included. So you can buy. These come under fourth party because Fanstoys actually started out as knockoffs. So therefore, if you go on the website, you can find Takara, you can find Hasbro, you can find third party, and then it's fourth party. And these come under fourth party. And for all 7, you can pay in dollars at 144, or the conversion you can pay in pounds. And you can select which currency you want to buy as well. Pay with PayPal, you want normally, or Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever pay you want to pay, payday. And they're £105 for 7 bots. So if we do the very crude math there, you're looking at around £13 a bot, I think, if I've done that right in my head in a split second there.
Yeah.
So it's quite good, and then they all come boxed as well. So and again, they're all pretty good. I think probably Weird Wolf's the weakest of them all. But he's got a huge transformation.
Cruncher is really hard to stand up. I don't know if yours is the same.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt you guys here and see if I can add Rohan's video just to see if this is working. What I might have to do is mute. You have to mute yourselves because
cut away from Rohan transforming to watch Rohan.
Yeah, no, go for it.
No, we'll see Rohan.
It's the Rohan show.
What you should have done is removed.
Oh dear.
Who's recommended Fans Project there? I saw a Fans Project recommendation there. Someone said Fans Project. Fans Project Headmasters.
Rohan, who is this guy? Rohan, the one and only Rohan.
Thank you guys. Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting episode of Rohan's Corner. And this week I'm talking about Transformers engineering and what makes Transformers fun. And this is a topic that seems to be coming up on the show week after week these days, with Andy and others talking about being able to pick up a figure and just having fun with it. When those days were when you pick up a G1.5 or G2 figure and you'd just be able to hard panther it in about 5 minutes and get the satisfaction of going from alt mode to bot mode and back, flick it and put it down and pick it up again because it was just so much fun. And it got me thinking about Hasbro mainline Generations figures over the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years, and how in the past they never really seemed to have a lot of cartoon accuracy. Third party came along and they started building super engineering, higher quality plastic and joints, more articulation, more toon accuracy, larger scales, smaller scales, all these elements which we didn't get with the mainline. However, in the recent past, War for Cybertron, it'd be hard to argue that they haven't got better engineering, they haven't got better articulation, better aesthetics, and more G1 toon accuracy, better paint schemes and colours and applications. Yes, there have been huge numbers of QC issues as well, but it has improved overall. And so my question to you all is, where do we stand in terms of the balance or the break point between what is fun and what is good engineering? And the reason why this has come up is because this week, some of you may have seen, I picked up Magic Square Devastator sitting there behind me, and he is a fantastic bot. Absolutely delicious looking Devastator. Definitely by far the best looking G1 toon accurate Devastator I've ever owned. And there are lots of people out there who love the NBK Devastator, the Combiner Wars Devastator, Unite Warriors version, or even the Gravity Builder Devastator. And then there's the really super expensive ones that go up for like £600. But for me, this guy is the best. And if they make a masterpiece version of him, I'll definitely be picking him up because I think he looks great in both modes. I'm not 100% convinced on the alt modes, but they're decent enough, definitely passable, and a lot better than some of the other third-party offerings we've had in the past. But what a faff it was to transform. It took me 3 hours to get all the individual bots from robot mode to alt mode, and then from alt mode to combined mode. And that is just not fun, let's be honest with you, especially when you're popping your thumbs and you're scraping your skin off and all the rest of that jazz. You're getting out your spudger and you're trying to pull pieces apart. It is a pain in the arse. And so I'm starting to get to this point where I'm thinking, hang on a minute, is it fun or is it over-engineered? Here is the beast in question. Now, dare anyone to tell me that this guy does not look totally G1 toon accurate from head to toe. He's got an absolutely fantastic aesthetic, very clean lines, finished off with a great colour scheme. Looks exactly like the cartoon, in my opinion. Even around the back, even though we've got long hauls, storage compartment, loading area for his truck mode sticking out there, it's still extremely clean. There is some kibble there on Mixmaster and Scrapper, and to be honest with you, getting them to stand up is a bit of a pain, but they do look great. I have to say, the legs on Mixmaster are a total pain in the arse to get right, and getting Scrapper to stand up in Devi mode is obviously always a pain with it, whichever third-party Devastator I've played with. I used to have the oversized KO Gravity Builder figure, and that just would not stand up whatsoever. This guy is a lot better. The arms definitely can take weight. Posability is excellent. You get two faces. It's pretty smack on. You've got a hook there, which looks pretty good. And although these bits and pieces here do really need to be tabbed in quite difficultly, especially the torso section between long haul and hook, we have to place the connectors in the middle here. It's very fiddly, it's hard to get in place and to hold in, and the instructions are not great. The engineering is fantastic on some of the arms and some of the way they collapse up and fold out, but really, is it fun? I don't know. I ask you to let me know. And Hasbro have, in their Generations line, been improving their engineering to the extent where I can still pick up a Hasbro mainline figure, a Generations figure, and I can hard panther that. Yes, no problem. Maybe not Unicron, although I don't have one, thankfully. Sorry, Alexis. However, what about these third-party bots? Some of them are okay. You know, some of these smaller brands, the Fanstoys of the world, and some of the masterpiece ones that Paul and Alexis have talked about on the show, they seem to be relatively intuitive, straightforward, not too hard to deal with. And then on the flip side, you've got the really hard ones. It takes me back to the days of the alternators and Vinyl Tech. And Masterpiece, when it very first came out from Takara and PO1, fiddling about with those things, trying to figure out how they went together. Sure, if you've done it a few times, you've got the muscle mass, that's great. But if you haven't, then... And if you don't use instructions, or the instructions are rubbish, and there are no videos out there on the internet for you to help with, it can be a nightmare. So there's my little mini rant over. I really like the little Legends figures. I think the amount of engineering they've put into such a small package is amazing. I still prefer the sort of simplicity of something like a Fanstoys over the Magic Square engineering, because the amount of panels and flip outs and push rounds and put downs, it can be painful, although the Stunticons were done really well. So hey ho. And by the looks of what we've seen so far from the Legacy lineup, it looks like they're only getting better. Superbly G1 Toon accurate looking figures, and engineering wise it looks interesting. Who knows, hopefully they're going to be just as good as some of the third party offerings we're getting today, and maybe there might be a shift. What do you guys think? Jamie, Alexis, Paul, Andy, do you agree or disagree? Is engineering becoming too difficult? Even on Generations can be fiddly, especially with this clear plastic issue. Anywho, that's been me for another week. Hope to see you again next week. Back to the studio. Till all our fun!
Oh yeah? Well, screw you guys, I'm going home.
I don't know. What do you think, Token Paul?
So, thank you, Rohan.
Thanks, Rohan. Thanks for the video. Oh, you're there. Thanks,
I like how you emphasised that the chugs were looking
That's
really good, and you needed really small hands for those legend figures.
Yeah,
which I think that's the take-home message today.
Call you new Paul. We'll call you new Paul then. So.
Right. So discussion
Hot
time.
Panther.
Discussion time.
Time to discuss.
Andy's taking it away. I am here, but
am I?
Oh,
we can't hear you, mate. Your
mic's changed.
There you go.
There we go. Just before we do the discussion, what is
just
the discussion?
Rohan, listen. This is how it works. Andy's going to talk about it. Then you get to think about it.
Oh, it's my first time ever watching the show.
Yeah, so and then we get to take part.
Discuss.
If you mention GoBots, we're going to kick you.
Oh,
yeah,
don't.
Just so you know.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, Rohan.
Like the professionals we are, we often prep our own arguments around this discussion.
You've built your own discussion, Alex?
What do you know about prepping?
I'm sorry. What now?
Prepping bullshit.
Before we start, he goes, I need 5 minutes. Live show.
You prep like before surgery. I'm a specialist.
These are surgeons' hands.
If you were a surgeon, Alexis, you just kick the doors open, walk in. Our 2 nurses put the gloves on and go, "Let's do this shit." If
anyone's
what
watched
operation am I doing again?
If anyone's watched Two Guys and a Girl at Pizza Place with Ryan Reynolds, I would be like Berg.
Oh, Berg was cool.
Sandwich. That's a deep cut. Anyway, right. The discussion came about because there's been quite a lot of chatter on social media, Twitter, and some of the Facebook groups where a lot of, or some masterpiece collectors have been commenting that, Alexis, stop. We've not even started yet, for Christ's sake. Some of them have been commenting that they feel, not me, Alexis, again, they felt that Masterpiece wasn't what it used to be, and that actually even stuff such as the Hasbro mainline is actually catching up with it. And they were bemoaning this fact. They felt that maybe Masterpiece is being neglected a little bit. So the simple question I asked in our little group was, for Masterpiece collectors, people who do collect Masterpiece, which is not me, so I can't comment on this, do you feel that actually there could be an argument for that? Or are you just going to sit there and argue, no, as if it's like some kind of football conversation? We've just slagged off your football team, Alexis. A balanced chat about what you actually feel about it without just turning it into let's slag off Jug because somebody said something negative about Masterpiece, even though it was Masterpiece collectors, Alexis.
Fine.
And that's the discussion, Rohan.
Yeah, it won't be like a football conversation, and
because you don't know anything about football.
I mean, Andy obviously dedicated Sunderland fan. And he's not going to go. I would
drop the mic, but it's pretty expensive.
So.
Alexis, I'd care if you knew anything about football, but you probably actually think not. That's the sad thing. Sunderland in their black and white stripes.
Cantona sure is good.
I love football. I love it when they score a try in the back of the net. Anyway, go on.
You do love Sunderland.
Did Giggsy score again?
So
Chelsea fan right now. Concentrate.
So I think that Takara Hasbro, and again we're talking specifically Takara Hasbro with
not third party, not third party.
Well, because if you look at Masterpiece does cover third party as well, because Masterpiece is
it doesn't does it, Alexis?
Well, okay.
They don't call themselves masterpiece.
Just for the sake of a discussion.
We're talking about Hasbro Takara masterpiece.
Yes, that's what we said a couple of times.
We
talked about it before the show too.
Right. Would the little boys like to sit down, please, and wait their turn? Right. Anyway, the masterpiece. Right.
What you're doing with your little boys is a different matter. Go on, get on.
What defines a masterpiece, right? Is it's the paint, it's the sculpt, it's the scale. All right.
Scale.
Right.
It always was all that. And again, people like New Age have redefined.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be.
Okay, break. I just break this now. The discussion is about Takara masterpiece. And masterpiece. If we can keep it to that. I mean, I want to talk about the Matrix. Sadly, it's got no relevance.
I was just going to say that I feel that Takara masterpiece, has been neglected because they do a lot of different what they call masterpiece. Because again, they do things like this masterpiece, and then they do. And Jamie, isn't the Soundwave that you purchased also classed as masterpiece? It's the MPM movie bot. Is it Studio MPM bot? Is it Studio Series MPM bot? Is it Studio Series bot? What's on the box?
What one you've got? Buy a masterpiece.
I thought that Soundwave was a masterpiece.
I love a balanced discussion.
It might be MPM.
MPM.
It's just
MPM.
Studio Series, mate.
Is it MPM on the box?
No, it's not the MPM. It's the Studio
It's because it looks that good. Because
it is the Studio
going downhill.
No, because it looks that good.
It is the Studio Series.
It might be the Studio Series.
It's not just because you.
It's because you looked at your little hands and you thought that looks like a big bot.
I'm going to adopt that attitude to the football. And the next time we get smashed 5-0, I'm going to say we didn't. We won 3-1. Because I say so.
Anyway,
go on. What were you saying? Oh, sorry. I didn't realize Alexis had finished.
I was saying. I think they've spread their net very wide, and I think they. And if you look at the latest releases of the later releases of things like the Bumblebee and Skids, admittedly, is better, right? Because again, it was getting bad, right? Like the Bumblebee and like the Tigertron, which came out, they're pretty appalling, really. Those sort of, and then the Cliff Jumper looks just fucking atrocious. It's just.
Do you think then they're taking their eye off the ball, and because they're focusing on other elements of the Hasbro Takara line, Alexis?
But are they? What are they focusing on?
Well, there has been a general consensus that the Chog line has caught up. The war for Cybertron bots. There's been so much positivity about a lot, not all, but a lot of them. Do you think maybe that Hasbro and Takara's focus has shifted more towards them, and maybe they've taken the eye off the ball? Oh, but surely they're different teams, aren't they?
Yeah,
it goes back to what it goes back to what Rohan said about what's fun about transformation.
You haven't heard what Rohan said yet on this discussion. Just
no, in his video, he talked about where do you draw the line between a fun transformation and too much engineering. And the masterpiece line now, because they want to be too accurate, I've got far too much. Sorry, masterpiece. I've got far too much. I've got far too much to try and be too much in that sort of area. Therefore, they're not as fun. But what mainline offer?
Stealing my content.
Is a fun transformation, and but what Takara fuck it, I can't get it right now. What Takara do all the time? Fuck off! That's too many times now. What Takara do and Hasbro do very well is an alt mode, and I would say pretty much all the robot modes, all the recent masterpiece robot modes suck. The Takara ones suck. And even like mainline, a lot of them, I'm sorry guys, compared to the third party masterpiece, suck. And that's the challenge I find.
What about the Seekers? Aren't they new?
What? Which ones?
The Takara masterpiece ones.
The Starscream and now Thundercracker and Skywarp. That's a new mold, isn't
it? They're good, but they have QC issues, don't they? So I'm not going to deny that they aren't ridiculed. Apparently Skywarp is pretty much money. Like he has gotten zero. Everyone who's had him so far says Skywarp has got 0 QC. They've got it right. But why the fuck have they taken 3 times to get a £200 figure right? it's stupid,
Yeah,
right?
it's
You can
and
kind
again,
of forgive QC issues in the £20 figure a bit more because it's a 20 quid figure. You're not spending a lot.
Not
But a
me.
£200 figure, well, apart from Jamie,
Oh
but,
no,
you know,
no.
a reasonable human can forgive.
No, it gets worse. So flame. Fuck off. Flame. Fuck off, Siri. Don't talk about it again. Siri. Right. Flames Toys did the Star Saber, and then they did the Victory Leo, and then they did a combined version of them. So Flames Toys did the sort of the sort of articulated bots, so they're not non-transforming, but they did the Victory Leo broke down and combined onto Star Saber. The thing can't even stand up. It's got it can't even stand up to save its life, right? And that costs £700 nearly.
How much?
And it can't even stand up.
Can we have a separate discussion next week about how much is too much to pay for a freaking bot? Because Jesus Christ, £700.
The only thing I would add to the discussion is I would say Siege Cliff Jumper, Masterpiece Cliff Jumper. And I think Siege Cliff Jumper looks more like the character, looks like a much more fun character, excellent transformation, much more enjoyable, cost about £15, depending where you got it from, compared to the Masterpiece one, which must be about, is it 60, 80? If it's any more than that, you need to be shot, taken outside, looked at pretty flowers, and fucking shot, because you shouldn't be paying any more than that.
You were suggesting you get shot, then they take you outside. The pain of being shot.
This is it. What have you ordered, sir? I've ordered the Masterpiece. Here's your lobotomy. At the back, and then here's your figure, sir. Right. No, the Masterpiece version is £95 plus postage. That piece of shit you saw. I sold my Bumblebee. I've gone back to 1.0. The 1.0 version was 50 quid, and you get a bike with it, and you get the jetpack. The MMC version which is called Helion of Cliff Jumper, which is very similar to the version 1 Bumblebee, which is very similar to is about 50 quid, which is about right. And you get the Toro, which is the X Transport version with a giant backpack, which is about 50 quid as well. So
Toro's not bad, isn't he?
He's got his shit. He's got a shit backpack.
Oh, is it? Which is the best one?
Well, it's subjective again. Do you want a skinny waist?
Okay, don't go into detail.
He gave you the hand.
Rohan, it would nice to hear
you hand me off.
You actually
Rohan,
have
what
an
do you
opinion. Yes, have an opinion, please. Don't keep your quiet.
No fence sitting now.
Takara Masterpiece. I've got to be totally honest with you all and say I don't keep up to date, so I'm actually Googling to see what the latest releases are to refresh my memory. And obviously, our friend Alexis talks about these figures on a weekly basis on the third-party news, and I kind of skim over them because they have been pretty poor for the last little while, haven't they? You look at those bots and you say, oh, that looks horrible, or oh, that looks like it's got kibble coming out of its arse, or that folds into 600 panels, and kind of stealing from Rohan's Corner, the over-engineering piece. Yes, absolutely, that's there. They do have a lack of fun by the looks of it. I haven't had any in hand. I haven't actually. I think the last Takara Masterpiece figure I owned was Megatron, the original one, MP. What is it, Alexis? MP10 or no? Sorry, 36. What was the original Megatron?
Yeah, what the big one?
Yeah, Masterpiece Megatron.
But not the current scale version, or
not the current one, the very original one.
Number 5.
Number 5. There you go. I had MPO1 Prime and I had MPO5 Megatron. That's it.
But the Prime's still good. The Prime still retails at 130. The original MPO1 Prime still retails. It had a lot of light up features as well, and it's big. It's tall. It's a good 50 inches tall.
Yeah.
It's massive.
And I think
it's
that's when Masterpiece was good, right? That was when everybody was saying, actually, these have got really good engineering. The look of them is fantastic. The transformation is good. It's still fun. Like you said, it's got light up pieces and whatever. But nowadays, it just seems to be all about the money and all about what can we make it look really toon accurate, but then we have to give up on this aspect and that aspect. So I actually agree to an extent with Andy and Jamie that Generations is catching up massively. I don't know if Andy's right, and they are.
You made chug there.
That is a swear word, sir, and it shall be removed from this show. The Rohan show will not have any chug. Anyway, yes, I think that Generations is catching up, and I think Legends is coming along massively, and people are actually flocking in their hordes across to Legends, and as Alexis says, 3P Masterpieces.
Is that people with really tiny hands?
Yeah. It makes them feel like they're bigger.
I am a giant. Yeah, no, I think third party is a lot better, isn't it, than the Takara
That's the
line
thing
piece.
I would say. If somebody said to me now, would you rather be a masterpiece collector like Takara Hasbro Masterpiece or the third party version of Masterpiece? See what I did there, Alexis? Then I'd go with third party Masterpiece. I'd go with third party every time. I just think I know there's still some QC issues that you get with certain figures, which you're going to get, I think, with anything. You know, anything where you've got mass manufacturing, you're going to get some QC issues. But I tend to hear less from the good third-party companies, and I just think their designs are still fun. That's the thing. Like you mentioned in your video, Rohan, that balance between a fun transformation and a fun bot, and just like, what do you want? If you want a puzzle that's going to take you 45 minutes to transform it, to me, that's not about the transformer. That's, you want a puzzle. You want to be challenged by something. That's fine, but that doesn't necessarily make it a good transformer or a good bot or whatever. It's the puzzle you enjoy, and that's that aspect of it. You know, I think if Paul was it, Paul is very much about the transformation, isn't he? You know, he loves any bot that's got a really interesting transformation. He wants the challenge. He wants to do it hard panther. He wants to test himself against it.
To be fair,
and that's
so
great.
Alexis kind of like that, although he doesn't show it.
and he doesn't do it.
He does sometimes.
He does actually, and
Yeah,
he's
he
quite
does sometimes. Yeah,
he's quite explicit in the details he goes into about how you transform certain things. I know sometimes Paul's trying to do something, and Alexis says, "This is how you do it," and Paul's like, "Shut up! I want to do it myself." You know. So there's a big enjoyment factor there, which I think people like Alexis with small hands get from transforming things like Masterpiece and stuff like that. Where us chug collectors, because we've got such big hands, it's quite difficult to transform stuff. So we want more simple transformations. We want to do it quick. We want to have the fun, and we're starting to be in the era now of that sort of mini Masterpiece, where I think it's getting harder for us to, where before you would be a massive distinction between Masterpiece and chug. For chug collectors, at least, you know, generations collectors, whatever way you want to call it, you know, we're starting to get more idealistic, you know, representation of the figures we love, and different versions, and it's not breaking the bank.
The engineering is definitely getting better at that scale. And the question is it getting better because of what Masterpiece have done and some of the lessons have been learned and brought over? Because I've seen comments about how certain parts of the transformation for some of the siege bots reminded people of things they'd seen with Masterpiece. So is it literally just that the people doing the generations design is kind of stealing some of the engineering ideas and the ones they can afford to put in? Because it's still about affordability as well, isn't it? I mean, this is why I find this argument about which is better, Masterpiece or Generations/Chug, which is better. It's kind of a pointless argument, because they were originally designed for completely different markets. They're not the same thing. You know, you're not comparing the same thing. But if they're kind of coming together, I don't necessarily see if that's a bad thing, because there's some things about Generations and mainline, you know, normal Chug toys that's more fun. It's more enjoyable. And if more Masterpiece toys were like that, I'd be more inclined to want to buy them.
Let me put it to you this way. If you've got all your figures out and you're trying to reenact a scene, and you've got to transform Chromedome from robot mode to vehicle mode so he can speed away and get a message to Optimus Prime to come and save the day, and it takes you 2 hours to transform the bugger, he's not going to get there, is he? He's going to get shot and die.
Even if you're doing photos like a grown-up, and like you want to do a scene, then you want to cut to a different photo in another scene. But if you've got to spend like an hour transforming one figure and then do the same for another figure, you know, I wonder how like some of these people who take the photos do it, because that's like freaking ages. I want to be able to pick it up, transform it, less than 5 minutes done. Beast Wars Masterpiece are the best Masterpiece on the market, car or otherwise.
So I think the 2 times I take photographs of figures are probably for the show, and then when I'm trying to sell something. And what I've done now,
which is also for the show.
Which is, I've now decided that if I'm selling it, I'm going to take photographs of it for the show, because they'll be the same photographs I use.
So every time you say take photos, we know, right? You're selling that.
So this is Blog It Corner. I put the brand on for the actual photographs. It does work, but I look at the box. I go, oh, okay, right. So to get into the box, I need to be in that mode.
Yeah.
And I got one in that mode. Which is the easier transformation? Which photograph do I want to do first? Robot or bot? Or I can't do one of each. I have to get them both. You have to get them both in the same mode, or like you have to get them all in the same mode. And I was like, right, okay, this is the quickest way to get through this. And it's like that's what goes through my head, and right now I've got the sort of the Japanese sort of like police spots where so you got Clamp Down, and you got Cordon, and you got the Kiss Players X Translots one, and it's like, okay, I'm praying.
Kiss Players, you say?
Let's open that door and have
there we go.
Kiss Players.
We'll get to it. Yeah,
but that's also the problem with Masterpiece, isn't it? The cost of the damn thing is so high that you have to warrant all these pictures and show it off in every sort of mode so that you cover all the aspects when you're selling it. Otherwise, if you got a Generations figure, you can just say, "Hey, I've got this Generations figure at Starscream. You've seen him 1,000 times. Buy him. He's 20 quid."
Yeah,
this is it.
So.
This is it. It is.
There's the argument with Masterpiece as well, isn't it? I've seen Masterpiece collectors who've said, "Oh well, there's only maybe." I mean, you might be able to correct me on this, Alexis, but I've seen people say, "Oh, well, there's only 4 or 5 Masterpiece scale figures, so the cost of it compared to how much you'll spend on all the Generations type figures, you're not actually spending more than you would on them." But then you're getting a hell of a lot more Generations figures for that same amount of money. Would be the counter argument, surely. There, it
does go.
If you can afford to buy lots of Masterpiece, great. But for a lot of people, you can't. That's not.
Do you want to? So what I've come to realize, the reason I'm selling a lot is again because space and issues. So I've decided that, for example, the season 3 bots, so all these Masterpiece bots here, like Tailgate and you got Swerve, and there's other bots like this, right? Which and Outback and other ones, which are decent bots, right? But I've just got no connection to them, no real affiliation. Outback I do from the comic books, right? So I'm probably going to hold off for a better version of him. But I will sell them because again, I'd rather they go to a home that will appreciate them. So I'm sold off all my Impossible Toys Quintessons because again I don't have the display space for them, and I think okay, that's fine. And I sold off recently the Legends what they're called, Twin Twist and Topspin, because again they're really cool figures, but I don't really have that real emotive connection. I think, do I actually want to collect every single bot that was released in that line? So like there's that, so you have to have that one bot which you fucking hate, but you got to get him because otherwise it's like I haven't got the whole set. Do I want that? No. Or would I like just to have a representation of the figures that I think were the cool ones, so I can look at that and I can then remember the whole genre in that space? So, for example, with Beast Wars, I've got the sort of the main cast from season 1, and then I've got the Optimal Optimus and Optimal Megatron, like their Transmetal 2, the Dragon and the Prime. I've got those two because I think those two are really cool. But things in between that, I'm not overly fussed. I've bought a couple, but I'm not overly fussed on them. I've now realized I bought them because I wanted them, because I wanted the completers. I was going for that whole completist sort of phase.
Yeah, see, this is another
and
conversation,
now I'm like,
but it's a really good one, and I think I really envy Rudy because Rudy does it so well. He picks and chooses the best figures. Doesn't have to be Transformers, from whatever action figure line that he really enjoys.
Yeah, Rudy likes GoBots, so we should move on.
Rohan's making a really good point here, though. It is true.
But you're right, Rohan, because that's what I've done with my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I bought the main, just the core, like the Turtles, April, Splinter, Shredder, Beat Roysteady, and Foot Soldiers, and I don't want anything else because again, like you can spend, obviously there were hundreds of characters in that one, right? Like every week there was a new bad guy, right? Like all the like Leatherheads and Mecha Turtle and the rest. It's like I can't be asked. Yeah,
I think that's a problem, which I think no matter what line you collect, and I think with Transformers, a lot of people feel they need, they call it fear of missing out, but it's usually just because it's such an awful situation the way pre-orders work to buy any new Transformer chug type of figure it comes out, because they're not sure if they'll like it. They don't want to wait for the reviews, because the time the reviews come out, usually the Transformer's been sold out, or So I think in that case, a lot of people seem to fall into this trap where they must buy and collect everything, and I don't really think that's the case. I mean, you see sometimes people buy stuff and then they sell it on, and I think like Alexis talked about that. There's people who buy Masterpiece figures, take their photos, have their fun with it, have a couple of transformations, and they'll sell it on. There's a lot of different ways that collectors work. I know Rohan, for example, is always selling stuff, even Andy, to some extent. You know, you've got quite a good situation where, you know, it's like a little bit of a conveyor belt, and you tend to keep the figures you really like and have a real connection with. And I think in the case with Masterpiece, it makes it slightly harder just because of the price involved. You know, you're not going to have the same opportunities or to have the same ability to mass buy or army build because they are expensive. They're more of a luxury item. And I think that's the trouble, because it is a luxury item, you're getting less for the bucks you're paying for.
Yeah,
and
you
you're
make
not
a
getting
really
that
good point.
quality shift. Yeah.
Especially on the price, because it's fluctuating as well, right? Some of them will go up a little bit and some of them will go down massively with newer versions, or another third party comes out with a better version and you spent 200 quid on a Masterpiece figure and then all of a sudden it's worth 50 quid because, you know, Fanstoys have made a better one or whatever.
Just think of a highlight Owlfire's comment. His video today apparently is about recycling his collections. Just for your information.
I think we talked about that, though. We've talked about that on the show before. That whole thing of recycling your collection, and people who've literally taken their whole collection and sold the vast majority of it, and then kind of started again and picked up the bits they really wanted, instead of, like you said, that obsessive compulsive thing. I must get all of them. I must get all of them. Because, I mean, I used to try and pick up every single Generations toy that came out, and I used to get to the point where I'd get them. Like, yes, I've got it. It's here. I've got it. Open it up. And it's not that good.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, did I even really want it, or did I want it because it was out and it was new? And, you know, you get caught up in that whole thing of, you know, oh, there's a new bot. Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And people wanting to get it. And you do see a lot of people complaining about that, and people, especially in the current climate, who can't afford to keep up with that kind of, well, whatever you kind of want to call it, lifestyle. And sometimes you just need to take a step back and actually think, what do I want from my collection, instead of just, I must get everything. Yeah. And if it is that you want to get everything, that's fine, but you've got to be able to afford it and everything, you know, it's got to be kept in check.
When I look at my collecting, you know, I sometimes worry about younger kids who are spending a fortune on these things. And with me, I'm obviously, you know, although I don't look at, you know, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm actually about 40. Older.
60.
40, I thought you were early 30s, Jamie.
But my point is, you know, I could be spending money on other stuff like, you know, prostitutes, you know. I've chosen Transformers, you know, and that's where my extra income can go on to. Is
you should buy some head of Rohan.
And I do worry about younger people who are buying a lot of these Transformers and seem to be buying a lot. And I'm thinking, you know, it's almost like sort of about becoming like a parent. I'm starting to think, I think you should, you know, moderation and bring it back in a bit, and don't. And I worry sometimes our community almost creates an environment because of the Masterpiece where people feel they're competing against each other.
Peer pressure, isn't it?
That's another discussion, isn't it? That's a whole other discussion you could have about that pressure to keep up and to get the new releases. But I mean,
let's be honest, since I met you guys, I've started collecting more again and getting figures that I didn't think I would have got.
I'm so sorry, Rohan.
It's all your fault, Andy. Seriously, that's why I pawned.
No, not because of me. I mean, because of the other two here. But I got
hyped on your gravy train, young gentleman, and bought loads.
I'm sorry, what?
I got hyped in your gravy train.
You are the worst, Alexis. You buy everything.
First time we did this show, you were there in your freaking palatial upstairs room or whatever it was with your entire collection around.
That's under my stairs.
I've got 3 shelves. You're blaming us. Are you joking? Anyway, what I was about to say was the kind of key question here, because we have had a very fun and interesting discussion, thankfully. That's been less defensive, Alexis. But the core thing was, has Masterpiece gone backwards a little bit? Does it need to up its game a little bit, or is that not necessarily true? You know, now, the only one of us who really collects Masterpiece is you, Alexis, isn't it?
If Takara,
be honest though, don't just defend it because you love it. Be honest.
If Takara Hasbro next 6 Masterpiece releases, those fucking train bots, they're dead.
Yeah, Mune Studios.
And that's the end of it, right? That's the end of it.
If they release
their 6 in a row of those shit bots, because Moon Studios are knocking it out of the park at the moment. XZ's at X Toy World. then I think Takara Hasbro.
He's fucking answered the question.
Done.
Oh my god.
No, I mean,
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue.
I'm
not even laughing at the video. I just read Robert Klopp's comment. People have to pay top dollar because Jamie bought them.
Jamie the army builder.
It's not just Jamie. Alexis is buying them like nobody's business. They've cornered the market. They've got about 500 between them. They're like
Rohan,
right, we're talking
your
prostitutes.
Your finishing comment.
Both.
I think Takara have to have a hard look at what they're producing, not produce the same old characters again and again, but they've done a lot of them, so it's hard. If I'm totally honest with you, they need to take a book out of the three-party kind of manufacturers' pages like Hasbro seem to be doing with the legacy figures now and Menasor and the Stunticons, and try and improve their capabilities from that side. But yeah, Personally, I would collect 3P, to be honest with you. Masterpiece scale, if you're looking for that, go 3P. That's where it's at.
My viewpoint is I think Masterpiece, Takara and Hasbro are dying and they need to do something. I don't mind because I think it's, like we often said, there's going to be an amalgamation of where Chug meets Masterpiece and we're starting to get closer and closer there all the time. Thank you. That's our discussion ended.
Can I give? Sorry.
Oh yes. Go again.
One last point. What I wanted to say was,
can I have some more?
I think that what the essence of this is with the transformation is there are certain, as you said, like moments which make transformations masterpiece. Like everyone now refers to Combiner Wars in the legs. Since Combiner Wars led with that, there were the moments where Inferno and Grapple, the MP versions, when the ladder folded up inside of the bot, and with New Age Shockwave, the main barrel of the gun folds up inside of the bot. And if you look at the latest legacy drag strip, the DX9 drag strip, the head folded into the cockpit of the car, and they've done the same thing with their vehicle as well. It's got the same. So there are those what we call masterpiece moments across all of our ranges. And I think as long as we enjoy what we do, then it's good with you.
Till
okay,
all our fun.
How good, happy.
Yes.
What a lovely way to end it, Alexis.
Okay, so Alexis, what's our Instagram account?
Transformers the Show.
And our Twitter account is Transformers the Show UK, where you'll see some of the photos which have been on tonight and other photos that haven't been.
And we're on Facebook.
And we're on Facebook. We've got our own Transformers the Show Facebook forum, and we're also on Transformers UK forum as well.
TF UK,
That's where we
baby.
tend to hang out mostly. Yes, TF UK.
Love a bit of T-fuck.
And Rohan, do you want to plug anything?
No, I'm good. Just
Plug
catch
yourself.
us here on the show every week and see Rohan's Corner with the boys.
What jumper will he wear next week?
I know he's not got one of his awesome T-shirts on because we caught
I
him.
know. We caught
I love the
Mike's
idea.
right.
Can we just
I
go
was
back
in the
to
middle of
running
it.
these
I'm
days?
grateful.
I've got to go. I've got
I'm
to go.
grateful.
The boys.
Yeah,
I'm
My
grateful. he's
dinner
got-
is here, getting cold.
I'm grateful. He's got trousers on tonight, so
He doesn't.
He's not.
don't stand up. Quick, end it before he does.
Hurt you whiteys as we speak.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you later.